And just as we thought Google was over with the release of its phones, I nearly forgot we still had one more coming up. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, it's Tech Flash. So, new renders have appeared alleging to show off the rumored Google Pixel 6a. Google's latest phones, the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6 Pro, showed off the company's technical expertise with the new Google Tensor chip and a completely overhauled design. But now there's news of another Google phone on the horizon. First leaked on Twitter, several renders of the Pixel 6a have surfaced. The Pixel 6a will be the newest addition to the A series lineup of phones, which are usually mid-range in terms of price and offer fewer features than the most recent flagship. The Pixel 6a will have a 6.2-inch OLED display with a single punch hole camera. While there's not a fingerprint scanner on the outside of the phone, it is possible that there is an in-display sensor similar to what the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro have. It will also feature a USB-C port for charging with the volume and power buttons located on the right side, according to the leaks. The phone measurements are actually a bit on the smaller side, but I think it will be a good alternative for those looking for a smaller Pixel than the current models because both are pretty big devices. In terms of what's missing, there is no headphone jack featured in the renders, which would make the Pixel 6a the first mid-range Google smartphone to come without one. In terms of looks, it has a similar design to the other two recent smartphones with the same black camera strip on the back. The renders show that the phone will also have a glass back and a dual tone finish. According to Mishal Rahman on Twitter, there's a device codenamed Blue Jay. Rahman found a possible camera setup for Blue Jay, which includes Sony's IMX363, IMX368 and IMX355 sensors. For reference, the Pixel 5a used the same 12 megapixel IMX363 for its main sensor and 8 megapixel IMX355 for its front-facing camera. The ultra-wide was a 16 megapixel IMX481, so while the rumored Pixel 6a ultra-wide camera is a lower resolution at 12 megapixels, the pixels on the sensor are larger, which lets in more light for better lit images. There has been no word on when the Pixel 6a will be available, but since the Pixel 6 and Pixel 6 Pro came out in October, I think it's fair to say that we could be waiting a couple of months before Google announces any launch dates. Earlier this year, the Pixel 5a released on August 26, 2021 in the US and Japan. Google didn't really explain why those phones were limited to those two countries, but we can always blame it on the ongoing chip shortage. Anyhow, August seems to be Google's new timeline for the A series. The Pixel 3a was released on May 7, 2019, but the Pixel 4a came out on August 20th, 2020. Many blame the pandemic on the 4a's delays release date, so the late August 2022 timeline seems likely for the Pixel 6a. As for the price, that's pretty much up in the air. The Pixel 3a came in at about $399, but the Pixel 4a undercut it at $349. Then the Pixel 5a bumped up to $449 and added a second camera and 5G. If we have to guess, the Pixel 6a will likely stay in the $449 ballpark depending on the chip Google uses. Now, the recent Pixel 5a was a great phone, probably having the best camera under the $500 mark, most likely beating anything else in the same price category. But I'm gonna mention four major things or features that I would like to see on the Pixel 6a to make it worthwhile. First thing is a relatively modern chip, and ideally the Tensor chip. The Pixel 5a uses the Snapdragon 765G, which is a year-old chip that we saw in phones like the Pixel 5 and the Pixel 4a 5G. Now, the 765G is not bad, but we want to see something more modern. Expecting the Tensor chip is honestly a long shot because Google's Tensor chips are still pretty new to the game, but we can always take on Apple's advice for what they did with the 2020 iPhone SE. Google could go out for the budget-friendly option, but I think it would be ideal to see the Tensor chip since it is a very good chip and could make the Pixel 6a a powerful competitor in the budget phone space. The second thing we'd like to see is wireless charging. Now, while the Pixel 5a didn't have this option, adding wireless charging coils isn't really expensive, and we think Google could still include this feature and keep the Pixel 6a's price down at the same time. The next thing is the battery life. Google has struggled with the Pixel's battery life on the Pixel 5a and even on the recent Pixel 6 and Pixel 6 Plus. I tested them out and the battery was not as efficient considering the size of the battery on the phone. Other budget phones last longer than the Pixel 5a, so any improvements would be good for the Pixel 6a. Last but not least is longer updates. Okay, so one of the best perks of buying an iPhone is that it will support software updates for like 5 years at least. An iPhone 6s is still capable capable of running iOS 15. That's a phone that came out over 6 years ago. The same thing cannot be said for Android phones. Google and Samsung have the best update policies, but we want to see Google support the Pixel 6a for longer, at least 4 years of platform updates and 5 years of security patches. That would make the Pixel 6a a safe and future-friendly purchase, which is an important consideration for those who want to go for a budget phone. Anyways, that's all we have so far on the Pixel 6a. Still too early to say, but rumors have already started to leak. Let me know down in the comments below what you would like to see, what you would not like to see. Either way, that is it for this video. Drop your thoughts down below, and if you enjoyed, please like the video and consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.